Welcome to the Demon Hunter Starter Build Guide for Diablo 3 Patch 2.6.6 and Season 18. If you don't know about these videos, they're like starter survival guides that take you from level 1 all the way to Endgame Recommendations. There will be timestamps in the description. There's going to be a lot of content I'm covering here, so if you're watching this on launch night or the next day or whatever, you can always just click on the timestamp and watch whatever is important to you. The best way to start any season is by saving your Challenge Rift bag. The season starts here on the 23rd. So you want to not do your challenge rift when it resets on Monday the 19th. Okay, so you can do it this week, totally fine. The season ends here on the 18th, and then the challenge rift resets on Monday. Just don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And then make a seasonal character on Friday when the season starts. Then do your challenge rift bag, and then you can start with all these materials here on the screen. Really awesome start if you do this. We've been doing it since season 12 or so. I will put a full challenge rift bag video in the description as well, as there's a lot of other tricks you can do with it. I just don't want to make these videos too long. So if you want a little bit more in depth, it's there. Yeah, with the challenge rift bag, you can unlock all your professions. You can get one free Hope of Cain in the cube every season. You get level 1 blood shards, and that's where we begin with level 1 blood shard recommendations. So for Demon Hunter at level 1 with your blood shards, you can definitely go for belts if you like. You get the gold wrap, which gives you armor when you pick up gold, and you're going to need this anyway for late game, but it's not as important overall. The Vigilante belt, which gives us cooldown, it only rolls, I think, up to 4 at a low level, though, not 8%. And then the Hellcat Waistguard, which gives you a multiplier on grenades. If you do get this while leveling, or you decide to go belts, it's a good option. Just make sure you use grenades with everything. There's grenades tied to almost every skill in the game, and there's a passive, so just kind of link it all up together. I'm not going to do this, though, if I play Demon Hunter. I just wanted to tell you that you could roll Hellcat, and it's not a bad option. You have a 1 in 3 chance to get the belt that you need, right? What I would do is wait till level 30 and go for Quivers. So you have a 50-50 chance, if you get a legendary, to get the Sin Seekers. So Rapid Fire no longer has a channel cost, and it also has a 300% multiplier that it doesn't tell you on this sheet. But yeah, so you get a 300% multiplier, and you only have a 1 in 2. So all you do is just leave your challenge rift bag in your inventory, don't open it until level 30, and then you crack it open and you go for it. Around level 10 or so, you want to check the fence vendors in every town, as they can give you plus damage rings and amulets. They're really good while leveling, and then you should have the gold if you open up your bag. So you should have money to afford vendor items, so definitely check those. Speaking of gems, you want to use red gems while leveling. That give you that plus damage that we talked about, and in your helm. So red while you're leveling, and then green once you hit 70. Green gives you crit damage, and red gives you XP and plus damage. Right, so in your helm, you can even use Topaz to give you more reduced cost resource and cooldown and stuff like that. But yeah, red's really good while leveling, basically. Make sure you save low-level legendaries while questing, as you can extract them in the cube for their full power when you hit 70. So just go ahead and hoard at least one of everything until you know exactly what you're going to be playing. When you hit level 40, don't forget you can make level 70 bows from the blacksmith and get reduced requirement level by up to 30. So then you can equip it at level 40, right? So this is, again, more RNG, but it just adds a fun element to the season. Maybe you go for Castarian, maybe you go for the reduced level on your weapon, maybe you go for the blood shards. It just adds more excitement to the season, and if you get nothing, it doesn't really matter. It just kind of gives you a little boost either way. Again, challenge rift bag in the description for a full breakdown on that. At level 61, ROS gear starts to drop, like higher tiered gear. Look for things with double crit, cooldown on them are really good for Demon Hunter. Fire damage for chakram or multi-shot. So you just hit 70, now what? What you want to do is complete your seasonal journey to unlock your Marauder Set. The Marauder Set 4-piece is really strong. So even if you have to do the season journey on like master difficulty or a lower difficulty than you would want to, it's totally fine, because as soon as you get this 4-piece, you're going to be a powerhouse. One thing you could do is run and kill Malthael on normal difficulty even to get Reaper's Wraps. So you go kill Mouth on normal. He is, of course, in Act 5 on the very top. Run up there, kill him. He drops a pattern for the Reaper's Wraps, and you can put it in the cube right away because, again, the challenge rift cache. Most characters are starved for resource right when they hit 70 because we don't have all of our synergies. We don't have like the Zodiac rings and all kinds of stuff keeping up our cooldowns. The build that you're going to be using looks similar to this. I'll have a link in the description. It's basically just a multi-shot fire build. I found this to be the best for wave clear. And Bat Companion gives me resource, Punishment gives me resource. Seethe is like our big cooldown. We want to save this for elites or the Rift Guardian. And Ballistics hits really hard with your rockets from Arsenal. And then, yeah, it's just a nice build just to get going. So I'll show you on a Torment 1 Rift. Always we test with nothing beneficial in the cube besides Reaper's Wraps, which are easy to craft, right? No gems. The first GR you do every season, you'll get a Bane of the Powerful. So you'll actually have this in your character. Just do a level 1 GR and you'll get that. And that's a 20% damage increase. No Paragon was used in the making of the video. Let's just kind of show, I guess. So it's a little bit slow, right? Because you have no multipliers to go with it. But multi-shot gets by. Pretty, especially with wave clear, you can see like the hordes of enemies get shredded. It's really just the elites that take a few more pops here. And this is what I would use. Again, Torment 1 or even a lower difficulty just to get by. If you did get a Hellcat while leveling, then maybe you focus on grenades. Like I said, pretty much any grenade skill, there is a lot of different options for grenades. So now I popped Vengeance and we look more like a Demon Hunter because Vengeance does give you a 40% damage steroid. That's pretty nice there. Just kind of showcasing the early game power, how you can build even with literally nothing. If you opted to go for the rapid fire, then you basically will be crushing content. Just use rapid fire and grenades also. The bombardment rune. And all you do is hold down rapid fire and you crush it. I'll put a link for this as well. So yeah, remember you had a 50-50 shot to get the Sin Seekers. And you can also get it just normally by playing the game. But this is like a mock-up rapid fire start build that I would go for. And again, this wasn't even possible until this got buffed last season or so. So that's a nice addition to the game because Demon Hunters never really had that many good options like other classes did for low-level blood shards. And this gives them a powerhouse weapon here. And it doesn't cost any resource, so you can just literally spam all day. Because the Challenge of Cash has 25 DBs in it, you can do an upgrade. But Demon Hunter doesn't really have any guaranteed upgrades besides the Impale Dagger. As you can see, there's only 2 possible daggers in the Demon Hunter item pool. So if you do Hope of Cain, which you have enough Death's Breaths for, you can easily get a Carly's Point or a Greenstone Fan, and both are great. They just they don't synergize amazingly with Marauders, even though Impale does work with Marauder Set. I would just go for bows, and you want to get that Yang's recurve. I would just YOLO and try to get a Yang's, because this will really change your early season. Whereas Impale hits super hard, but you're going to run out of resource. You'll be in the same boat where you'll have no resource, and it doesn't really change your life so much. But like this would really kind of change your whole early game. So that's what I would do. But you can always go Impale. It does synergize with the 4-piece Marauder. So once you go through and you get your season journey complete, you get your 4-piece set, you're getting ready to do your GR20 clear. Let's talk about the Marauder set. So the 2-piece calls all the companions at your side. So you have all the different bonuses that they bring, like the spider slows, the bat gives you resource, the boar makes you tanky, the ferret picks up globes, which is good for Reaper's Wraps, actually, and the wolf gives you an attack boost to you and your group, actually. The 4-piece sentries deal 400% increased damage and cast. They mimic your elemental arrow, chakram, Impale, so it does synergize with Impale, multi-shot, cluster arrow. I like chakram because you're able to spam infinitely, basically, because it's such a low-cost spender. Chakram is only 10, it has a huge wave clear, and the sentry Spitfire turret mimics that. And you want to cast your sentries around the enemies, but you only need about 1 sentry per screen because it's so powerful. So that's like your goal is just to get your 4-piece as soon as possible so you can showcase how badass you are. If you have some leftover blood shards, if you get all the stuff that you need and you want to know what to roll into early, I would definitely go for quivers because there's a nice Marauder quiver that you can potentially get. Bombarder's Rucksack. It gives you 2 additional sentries. 2 more sentries is more damage since your set damage is based off sentries. And then of course you can get the Dead Man's Legacy for multi-shot, and that'll make multi-shot insane. It hits enemies twice below 60% health, and it does crazy damage. So both of them are super good, but also Holy Point Shot is pretty powerful as well. You can even get a Sin Seeker, but I wouldn't really worry about it. If you start with Sin Seekers, you don't really need it for the Marauder set. It doesn't synergize well, and the sentries do enough damage. So I'm going to jump into a GR20 clear here and try to show you what you would do. So you would drop 1 sentry and start spamming Chakram. Again, Chakram is so cheap that, you know, it's such good value for what you put into it. Look at all, this is only with 1 sentry too, by the way. Each one does like the 400% damage. But I don't want to run out of discipline. It does cost discipline to cast them. But only, actually cost hatred. I was wrong. Cost hatred. So I'm using the Spitfire turret. You can see as soon as you want to get into your 4-piece as soon as possible, because it makes DH insane. It makes you really good, and you'll be able to walk through your GR20 clear. Shielding mob, just getting destroyed. Go over here a little bit. We got Spearman. Also, you're really tanky. The Boar Companion that we talked about does give you some bulk, so that's always nice. And you can see how we're just carving through the rift. It's really nice. And it only takes the 1 sentry to set up, and then you just kind of throw your chakrams down the hallway. Let's say you're leveling and you get anything that we talked about, right? Impale multipliers, multi-shot multipliers. You can pair anything with it. Anything that it says in the 4-piece, right? It tells you right there. Just make sure you're following the set. You got Elemental Arrow, Chakram, Impale, Multi-Shot, and Cluster Arrow. So there's some cool Cluster Arrow stuff that you can use. So anything you can pair with it. All you do is change the spender to the new multiplier that you got. So you did your GR20 clear. Congratulations, you now have your 6-piece set. Your primary skills, Elemental Arrow, Chakram. We always read this off, I guess. They deal 12,000 increased damage for each active sentry. So like I said earlier, rolling that Bombarder's Rucksack would be nice at this point. But you didn't necessarily need it before this. And again, with your turrets, the turrets don't have to be following you around anymore. All you want to do is whenever you zone in, you have to recast your 3 turrets, and then you can leave them there for the rest of the floor. And then when you zone into another floor, you'd have to then recast your turrets on the new floor to keep up your damage buff. So with the 4-piece, your sentries do a lot of the damage. And with the 6-piece, you do the damage now. So you can just leave your sentries behind and go kill everything. The build is mostly unchanged, but I did add Guardian turret here for group play, or if you're solo on the Rift Guardian, this will give you some more tankiness. I even call the build 6-piece plus spender, because you can use the 6-piece with a multitude of spenders. I just like to use Chakram, but you can mix in anything that you want or any drops that you get, like we talked about previously. I'm going to jump into like a T7 level, which is probably where you want to be at for farming right when you get your 6-piece. It's really efficient. It's just overall one of the best torments to do. You can see here for Death's Breaths, it slowly goes up, and then there's a huge jump here from T6 to T7. It goes from 75 to 90%. So I like to go right to T7 and farm there. And then the same thing with T11. There's only a 50% chance on T10, but if you jump to T11, there's a 90% chance to get a second Death's Breath. So the way I always work it out in my head is T1 is where you start, and then T7 is your second break point because you have a 90% chance to get a Death's Breath, and then T11 is the next chunk that you want to get to because you have a 90% chance to get a second one. Anyway, let's destroy this rift. We're going to put our sentries in the beginning, and then boom, you can see you're just walking through, and then you want to farm T7 till you get like a full build, and you start getting all your speed build items and everything like that. Whoa, we almost took a death there. We just one-shot that elite. Feels good. Marauder, I think, has a stigma for having a slow start. It's a pretty fast start overall, especially if you get some complementary items. If you get the Yang's Recurve Bow, you hit the jackpot. You can run Marauder and crush it early game. But even if you don't, you're just using Chakram. I'm not even using the Chakram weapon. Like if you had the Chakram weapon, you'd be higher and hitting harder and all that stuff. So we killed this. I didn't even know there was an elite up here. We did so much damage, chat. Didn't even notice. I'm just going to push a little bit more in the rift here. Yeah, so it's nice that you don't have to recast them all the time. It feels good, basically. So these guys pick up our globes and get out of here. If you happen to get a Ring of Royal Grandeur at some point, don't forget you can rock a Sage set. They added a belt to the set. And it's automatically learned at the Forge at rank 12. And then we unlock the Forge immediately in the beginning with our Challenge Rift bag. So you get the Sage set right from the beginning. It's going to increase our Death's Breaths. It's going to be amazing to get more Ancients faster. And then you got the belt, so you can rock a Marauder with the belt. It's good. I'm going to include a bunch of builds in the description for you guys of what to build into for speeds, pushing, all that stuff. This is like a typical Marauder build that we updated that you would probably move into, utilizing the new Captain Crimson set for damage, mobility, reduced cost resource will help you with spamming cluster arrow. So yeah, it's all updated with stat priorities and everything like that. In the cube, again, that Hellcat's really good. If you get it while leveling, make sure you hold on to it. I'll also include our tier list in the description. You can play a lot of things, like in my opinion, up in the A tier, we have UE multi-shot you can build into. You can play N6, M4 still. Even the C tier is really powerful. You can still play Lawn Rapid Fire DH. So yeah, I'll put this is like our master list. I'll put this in the description, and the video has links to everything in the description. This is what the description looks like. It has just a bunch of materials and other people from the community that we love, that, you know, to kind of give everyone a shout out also. Overall, the Marauder Demon Hunter build always surprises me. I always forget how strong it is. I always think that I'm stuck to these turrets, but you're not. You just have to cast 1 or 2 per level, and then you can continue blasting away without thinking of anything. You really only have to manage your turrets until you get to a high level, like your max level pushing. But for speeds and getting started early on, it's an incredible start to the season. It makes it more confusing for me. I'm going to play Demon Hunter and Monk as a duo main. Now I really don't know what to start because they both have really strong starts. So it's kind of funny that these are my 2 starter builds that I made, because these are my 2 mains next season. The final patch notes came out and nothing got nerfed, so Demon Hunter is looking really good with UE multi-shot, like an A tier push build. And Wave of Light Monk is looking godly also. They both can utilize the Squirts necklace. And I think to a certain extent Marauder can. You just have to be able to crowd control the mobs a little bit to make room to do that. If you want to support the channel further, you can always support on patreon.com/bloodshed. You can follow me twitch.tv/bloodshed. I love making these every season, and I love that you guys support. It means a lot. The season drops on the 23rd. I'm going to no life it all weekend long. I can't wait to spend it with you guys. That's going to be all for me today. This is the Bloodshed, and I'm out of here. Peace.